Today we'll be making the Wildlock 3rd grade worksheet lesson number 16. And to start off, we're writing the time. So when looking at a clock, we want to first always look at the big one and the small one to see what it is. The small one means the hour and the big one means the minutes. So looking at number 1, here we see that the small one is at number 1, which means it's 1 o'clock. And then the big one is on number 12, which means it is currently at 0. So that means that for number 1, it's currently at 1 o'clock. Here, but we don't know whether it's AM or PM, so we're just gonna write 1 o'clock. For number 2, here we see that the big one is on number 2, and the small one, the small one's on number 2, and the big one's on number 12. So that tells us that it's 2 o'clock and it's at 0, so that means it is 2:00, which means 2 o'clock. For number 4, here we see that the small one's over is at number 6, meaning that it's 6 o'clock. And then the big one is over 12, meaning it's 0. So we can put 6:00, meaning that it's 6 o'clock. For number 5, here it's the small one's at 11 and the big one's at 12. So we can put 11 and then 12 means 0, so we're gonna put 00. So it means it's 11 o'clock. For this page, it's reading write the time continued, and we see for number was 7, the small one is over number 7, so we know that's 7 o'clock, and the big one is on 12, so we know that's 0. So then we put 2 zeros, so it's 7 o'clock. For number 8, here we see the small one's over at number 3, so we can put a 3 right here. And it's hovering over 12 again, so we know that's 0. So we put 2 zeros, and it means it is 3 o'clock. For number 10, here we see that it's hovering over the 5, so we know that's 5 o'clock. And then the big one is over 12 again, so we know it's 500, which also stands for 5 o'clock. For number 11, it's the same thing. Here we see it's hovering over number 4, so we can put a number 4 right here. I mean, it's hovering over 12 again for the big one, so we know that's 400, which equals 4 o'clock. For this page, here we're finding the missing numbers. And for number 1, blank hours is equal to 1 day. And starting off, we already know 1 day is 24 hours, so we can just fill in 24. And we have 2 weeks equals blank days. And we know that 1 week is equal to 7 days. So to get our answer for number 2, we're just going to multiply it by 2. It gets us 14 days in 2 weeks. For number 3, here we have 1 year equals blank months. And, well, we know that there's 12 months in 1 year, so we can just fill in 12. For number 4, it says 4 weeks is equal to blank days. And since we know that there are 7 days in 1 week, we can do 7 times 4, which gets us 28. So in 4 weeks, there are 28 days. Number 5, it says we have 2 years equal to blank months. And since we know that there's 12 months in 1 year, and there's 2 years, we can just multiply it by 2, and we get 24. So in 2 years, there's 24 months. And for number 6, we have blank minutes is equal to 2 hours. 1 hour is equal to 60 minutes, so telling us that it's 2 hours, if we just multiply 60 by 2, it gets us 120 minutes. For number 7, we have 48 hours is equal to blank days, and we know that 48, we know that 1 day is 24 hours, so we can do 48 divided by 24, which gets us 2. So 48 hours is equal to 2 days. And lastly, for number 8, we know that 60 minutes is equal to 1 hour, so we can just fill in number 1. Starting with the word problem, so here we have number 1. Gina went on a trip for 2 weeks and 3 days. She left on July 3rd, or July 11th. When did Gina return? So, since we know she was gone for 2 weeks and 3 days, we're gonna add up the total of the amount of times she was gone. So 1 week is equal to 7 days. So, and then she was gone for 2 weeks. So we multiply this by 2, so we get 14 days. And we can add 3, which gets us 17 days in total. And since she left on the 11th, of July, we can add 11 to 17 to get our day, and we get 28. So, and 28 is still in July, so we know that Gina returned on July 28th. Number two, brown bears will hibernate for up to 7 months in a year. How many months are there that they're not hibernating in a year? So, since we know that in one year there are 12 months, and it says that brown bears will hibernate up to 7 months a year, we can just subtract 7 from the total 12, which gets us 5. So that means that for 5 months a year, they are not hibernating. For number three, it says Mrs. Green or Miss Green went on a vacation from August 1st to August 15th. How many weeks was her vacation? So to find our answer for here, we know that there are 7 days in one week. So to first, we need to find the difference. We need to find how long she was gone for. So to get that, we can just do 25 minus 4, which gets us 21. And then we can do 21. Oh, we can do 21 divided by 3, or divided by 7, which gets us 3. So she was gone for 3 weeks. For our last one, we have Maria started her art project on October 1st. She worked for 3 weeks and 4 days. When did she finish? So since we know that she started on the 1st of October, and we know she worked for 3 weeks and 4 days, we can do 3 times 7 first to get the days of the weeks. So we get 21. We can add 4 to get 25 days. And then we can add 25 plus 1 since she started on October 1st, which gets us 26. So she finished on October 26.